Kim, I'd like to talk about the Biden choices thus far. We had the same conversation the last time
you guys
were
hear?
on, but the list of names has been added to. We learned today Buttigieg transportation, Jennifer Granholm energy. Tonight, Axios has a piece guessing that the Republican in the cabinet, and it's in traditional presidencies, it is traditional to have someone or try to have someone from the opposite party, that Biden is looking at a Republican perhaps for commerce. They further speculate that it might be a Meg Whitman type. What do you make of the slate you've seen thus far?
First of all, what's a Meg Whitman type?
Well, it's like a white woman CEO, but like
right. It's a it's the type who says, "Oh, I didn't know that my nanny was."
She lost like $1 billion as a CEO of Quibi in like the most spectacular failure. In the
she was at Quibi too.
She was a CEO of Quibi.
Well, before that, though, she was a whatchamacallit. She was at
CEO of Hewlett Packard, and then she ran for governor.
Lost in large part. Well, not in large part.
Lost, even though she spent all her money. But yeah, I just love like Brian. Well, we're getting breaking news that Jennifer Granholm has been elected the Secretary of Energy. This is I am being told this is the first grandma. Noah Berlatsky tweeted that grandparents are an oppressed class by their children. This is historic, ladies and gentlemen. She's not necessarily BIPOC, but I think we can agree that grandmothers are actually just as oppressed as people of color in this country. I myself am soon to be a grandfather. My daughter, Allison Williams, got her ass eaten on girls, and I think that made her pregnant, but I'm not sure how that works.
Nor is it my lane to know.
Yeah.
A Meg Whitman type. What do you make of the slate you've seen thus far?
And this is Jeb Bush's guy, right? Tim Miller. Like Republicans against Trump.
Two things. One, I think it's a Biden-esque slate. It's pretty crazy how much criticism I think from the left, really. The boys of the left know how to eat their young. You never saw this in Republican administrations where you know because you're a literal Republican. Interest group or from that interest group, and that seems to be all the coverage around Biden.
What interest
group?
The
whole party is interest groups.
I know. And also,
interest groups.
Yeah, exactly.
Left cabinet, a very competent cabinet. And out of today's picks, I just want to call out Pete Buttigieg once again.
Yeah, I want to call him out too.
Joe Biden is making a first. This is going to be the first gay cabinet official confirmed by the Senate. And this is massive news. I know in a lot of in urban pockets on the coasts.
Urban, really? You're going to mention urban?
Is pretty common these days. This doesn't seem like as big of a deal as it might have 10 years ago. But for a lot of kids in a lot of parts of this country, Pete was a huge role model.
Wait, can you stop that?
Yes, of course.
Okay, no one knew who Pete Buttigieg was before like 2018 tops. So you're telling me there's some closeted gay kid somewhere who was like, ooh, I really want to come out.
Me.
But I'm not going to look to any of the celebrities. I'm not going to look to Ricky Martin. I'm dating myself now. But like
Will and Grace.
Even us dating ourselves.
It's even weirder than that, because the idea, like if you listen to what he just said, it's the first openly gay cabinet member who's been confirmed by the Senate.
Yeah.
So like
it's an incredibly narrow
kid out there who's thinking, well, I'm worried that because I'm gay, like the highest I can rise in life is a cabinet secretary who was not confirmed by the Senate. It was just put in as a recess appointment.
Exactly. They have Grenell shame. They have Richard Grenell shame. And the reason he said that about the confirmation, of course, is because as we were saying earlier, Nando, Trump, all LGBTQ wokeness, praise be upon him, because he added the Q when it wasn't there in the teleprompter. Long story short, we'll get back to that another time.
No,
but he named Richard Grenell the first openly gay cabinet member. But yes, okay, he wasn't confirmed by the Senate. But I do love the idea of a gay kid being like, oh my God, there's a cabinet member.
I love the idea of the Democrats not confirming him because
the Senate, because we're talking about young kids who are paying attention to which members of the cabinet got Senate confirmation votes.
I know.
Well, I love the idea of the Democrats not confirming Richard Grenell because he was gay. But
that's what we should start. I already tweeted stop.
We should start that rumor.
Stop erasing Grenell.
Modeled what it was like to have a
also this guy's voice sounds like an SNL character.
And leave a place like Indiana and succeed. And so
is he Canadian? No disrespect.
Obviously, and as I mentioned last time, my orchestra.
His mouth is in a straight line, so I think no.
Center left cabinet. I don't know what else you think you'd get.
Yeah, what do you think you get? You
no,
fucking
you're right. And these LGBT
brats.
firsts should be correctly noted and celebrated every
Well,
time.
if they're going to be correctly noted, shouldn't we say LGBTQ?
So, Jason, you heard what Tim just said.
You heard
about
Jim just said.
infighting.
Jason, oh, this is great.
We have this from AOC today. Quote, you have an individual appointment here, an individual appointment there. What is the overall message from the big picture in this entire cabinet put together?
That voice is something.
So bad.
The Democrat immediately branded this the start of purity testing, 36 days before any hand.
Okay.
Why don't you actually name the person or just use the term like everyone else does without any explanation? A friend of mine.
This purity test stuff, it's like, I'm hearing that progressives don't want murderous Satanists on the cabinet. They are like, I mean, I wrote an article about this already back in the summer, but like, I think we need to do some affirmative owning on the idea that like it's not a purity test; it's called having standards, and it's very brave of you to admit that you have none.
Yeah, it actually is a good self-own. I mean, it's also like, you know, when the argument is that it's purity test, it's a purity test or purity politics to demand that people not be from Wall Street. And they had the gall, the people making this argument, they had the gall to then say that, you know, it undermines diversity. It's like, why isn't that purity politics? Like, I don't accept that, but why is that not purity politics? What is the thing? Why is that not dispensable? And the other thing is, like, let's just be real and look at how those things are interrelated, obviously. But like,
I do want to shout out Sherilyn Ifill, who was the only person who pushed back against Joe Biden on that leaked civil rights leaders call, and said specifically, diversity of appearance is well and good, but we need substantive diversity, ideological diversity, and no more prosecutors on the bench.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm glad she did engage in some pushback against Joe. 3 to 4 out of 7 commercials are now biracial Biden. That should be his nickname. Ben, I don't know if you saw this, but it's one of his best moments.
And said to me in response, quote, would you perhaps prefer the Trump dear leader cabinet for 4 more years?
Oh, that's a really good. I never thought of that before. It could have been Trump. So take whatever we give you. I know.
Which is so like the election is over. Like the Trump cabinet is no longer an option. Why is this being talked about?
Exactly. You can't scare us with that anymore.
Yeah, it's just literally irrelevant at this point.
Yeah.
Here's Jason, your answer.
Also, by the way, Brian Williams is so dumb. He's like just smart enough to know how to kind of sound coherent, but he's just so slow at the wheel or at the pilot. You know, God, remember he lied about being in a chopper.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that this guy, he and Joy Reid should just have a show together, like Disgraced Liars Tonight or something.
Really, just the whole channel.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, look, this is not
fave.
going to be the red wedding, right? Where the Democrats show up and they all kill each other and they're fighting. I don't think.
What's that? What's the red wedding?
He's making a Game of Thrones reference. It's a reference to the show that's been off the air for a year and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say that's actually kind of fun. Like this is I think this is the first time I've heard anybody make a Game of Thrones reference.
I thought it was like a Soviet
at least
thing.
2019.
Also, it's like from an episode that's like from season 3, so this is like 10 years ago. Like,
well, yeah.
what?
Well, Bree, 10 years ago is when people didn't think it was when people had no idea. He's hearkening back to those times when people who had no idea who Pete Buttigieg were inspired by the fact that he was gay and they didn't know who he was. Okay.
I tend to think as much as it's an accomplishment for diversity, look, I've always thought that Mayor Pete sort of failed up, to be perfectly honest.
Okay, now this is one of those few moments.
He's right. He was getting dragged for this all day on Twitter. I even liked one of his tweets in defense, despite him being a vile human being to me. Because if you're right, you're right. I call him like I see him. I don't care what you said in the past. If you're right, you're right. And he is right here. And all the white libs turn on him on a dime. It was remarkable. He should figure out who his real allies are.
Man, Brian, I just have to say, my mother was.
Oh wait, we got to hear about his mom.
What about his mom?
I know. Hold on. That's a real cliffhanger, huh? Hold on. Okay, ready? Here, he's gonna bring it.
I failed up like Mayor Pete. I mean that.
What happened? I'm telling you, the NSA is all up in my interwebs.
I mean, I guess
You're curious, right?
curious about what else, mother said about, Pete Buttigieg and how she always hoped he'd be transportation secretary.
I mean, he's so dumb. He's like, if only I failed up. Like, do you not understand that that's what that means? Like, your mom, the whole point is that, failing up means your mom is proud of where you wound up.
Also, I mean, if this guy's a never Trump Republican on MSNBC, I think he did.
Well said. That is a good rule. That is a good general rule. Yeah. Let me see. If we can't get this now, I'll just stop it. But let me give it the old college. Let me give it. Where did Pete go to college? Let me give it the old Rhodes Scholar, Oxford.
Pete Buttigieg?
Yeah.
You don't remember? He tells you at every episode.
Harvard, Yale, Princeton. Which one?
Like Mayor Pete.
Harvard.
Harvard. Okay, sorry.
He's failing. He's really failing quite well. Won the Iowa caucus, first gay man to run for president of a major party. He seems to be doing all right to me. I don't know.
Do you not understand what failing up means?
He clearly doesn't. Also, Bernie won Iowa.
Veteran and a Rhodes Scholar in the equation. Two good things to have.
I'm like so team Jason right now.
Cabinet, any collection of adults.
Oh yeah, that's good. Rhodes Scholar. Definitely want him in the cabinet.
You also get a decorated military veteran and a Rhodes Scholar in the equation. Two good things to have, I would think.
I want nothing more than those things in the Department of in the transportation.
One of my best friends from college went to Harvard, obviously, and spent 8 years in the military. She ran like nuclear subs on aircraft carriers, is very smart and talented, and actually has good politics. And every other day I say to her, just run. Because apparently all you need to do for people to believe you can do something in this world is have gone to Harvard and been in the military. And unlike Pete Buttigieg, you're actually in there for a real long time. You learned a couple of things. You were a speechwriter for a 4-star Black female general, and you can maybe do a little bit of something with your life. Plus, you're from Utah. That's fun.
Oh my God, are you kidding? That's a real curveball. Do it. You should run her campaign.
I tell her all the time. I told her today, in fact.
Oh wait, what did he say? This cretin?
Any collection of adults.
Oh my God, he just says like literally nothing except platitude after platitude and like offensive meritocratic technocratic platitude.
A decorated military veteran and a Rhodes Scholar in the equation. Two good things to have, I would think.
Why? Who cares? Here's the thing. Also, if I could just say, so I was listening to Pod Save's
that's on you, by the way. Bree. That's your fault.
It's been a great and fascinating conversation. Let's do this exact same thing.
Sorry,
again.
this is just the most.
Jason Johnson.
That's just such a
Tim
great.
Miller, two longtime friends of this broadcast. Thank you, gentlemen, both very.
Because I failed up like Mayor.
I wish you did fail up like him, so we wouldn't have to see you on MSNBC. Well, that's not true. Anyway.